see GC Requiem here. Oh, we've got some Sultai Midrange. We are going to be on the draw. I think we're going to keep this. Hand looks good. So I'm going to assume off that so far that we're either playing Blue Moon or Storm. The fact that we have Thoughtseize means it won't take long to find out. So just in case we are playing a moon deck, we have access to a couple fetches here. Definitely going to start off with a swamp and hope to be able to get our forest down next turn. So this is actually just Grixis control, that's fine. Opponent has a Snap, a Tasigur, Cryptic, Blood Crypt, Tarn, and Vents. Certainly I got Grixis to recur. I almost feel like we're probably best off to go with the Cryptic here. We don't really have a lot of answers in this deck. Actually, it may be worth it to take the Tasker. We don't have a lot of answers to handle the Tasker, to be honest. Granted, Cryptic could definitely slow us down a bit. Maelstrom Pulse. I mean, we can just kind of run over Tasigur, I suppose. Yeah, right now the opponent kind of has a semi-weak hand. I think we're just going to take the Cryptic command here. And we're going to pass. Just kind of hope Tarmogoyf can run over the Tasker when the time comes. Opponent Thought Scours, he's got a Snapcaster Mage, so he's looking to set up some options here. Goes with the Tasigur. So we're not really worried about Blood Moon anymore. It's just not something this deck typically plays. I think here we are just gonna lead with the Flare. We really want to start filtering our draws, I think. If he kills the Flare, then we have a Tarmogoyf for the next turn. Not a whole lot he can do with a Snapcaster. Kind of wouldn't have been surprised if he just played a Steam Vents there. So he's going to hold the Tasker back because he knows that he does not want us to start getting our stuff going. So I actually think we probably may want to just snap Thoughtseize here. We know he has a Snapcaster, and if he plays out the Snapcaster, I think we're alright with that. Getting a peek at the hand and so Kolaghan's command, he's gonna kill the Flare, make us discard a card. I think the island's the easy choice here. So he's down to a snap and another Vents. It's going to take a while for him to be able to Snapcaster back the Kolaghan's command. You'll need at least one more mana. And I think we do just want to keep pushing the pressure on here. If we try and hold the Snapcaster back to block here, if he draws another land off the top, he's dead to Kolaghan's command anyway. We have the ability to race with 6, 7, 8 damage next turn. Keep in mind, we're probably going to just want to keep the Darkslick Shores in hand as a discard, in case he tries to make us Kolaghan command to discard. Just not going to do anything here. He's going to task her to try and get something back, unless he goes for the Snap Kolaghan, which he could do if he thinks he can get lethal. Again, we're looking at 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, definitely just going for the Tasker Delve. Probably didn't even... I don't know if that's just a mistake there, or he just wanted to hold the mana up. Oh, there's definitely... Do we want to block with Snapcaster? I think we do, actually. Now it's possibly tries to snap Kolaghan Command here, block with a Snapcaster and Kolaghan Command to kill the Tarmogoyf. I mean, we're essentially dead if he were to draw 2 burn spells anyway. So there's no reason to not attack there with the Tarmogoyf. We have the Treetop Village as a potential blocker. Probably gonna have to give him Serum Visions here. I don't want him seeing our hand. Oh man, he's potentially giving us lethal on the crackback too. Counter Squall does 2 damage, so if we give him that, that's no good. And we could give him Snapcaster, hoping that he spends his turn Snapcastering. But he has another Snapcaster in hand, so if he snaps into Inquisition and we fatal push, oh geez, I don't know. So we could just give him the Counter Squall, that's 2 damage. Then he could snap Kolaghan's Command. So actually if he snaps Kolaghan's Command, he wouldn't actually have the ability to cast the Counter Squall as well. Then there's the question whether or not he draws a Lightning Bolt. We could also draw a Stubborn Denial. So I think we're actually just going to give him the Serum Visions. We do have lethal on the crackback. Right now he has the ability to cast Snapcaster and Kolaghan's Command. So if he were to attack, and that was his plan to stop us, you know, we have a way through that. If he has a Lightning Bolt, however, he did put both cards on top. So we know only one card, which is the Snapcaster. So we're just going to kind of hope for no Lightning Bolt or to draw Stubborn Denial here. So he taps for black, so I'm assuming Fatal Push, which should effectively end the game for us. Unless he's going to cast second Tassiger to block here, which is quite possible. Okay. So now he can not Snapcaster anything. If we peel a... Actually, I don't know. Maelstrom Pulse, we're not going to be able to actually attack with the Treetop Village. We know he has a Snapcaster. We're okay if he ends up snapping his Kolaghan's Command to kill the Flare. Perfect. So his actual hand is empty. Creeping tar pit though, so we're actually dead. We can't block the tar pit. Somehow I missed that he even played that. Alright, so turn 8, we lose Grixis control. Alright, so generally speaking, I like Ashiok against control decks. Ashiok's actually really good against burn as well, so that would be plenty good. Painful Truths, definitely something to consider, although honestly, Collective Brutality might be good in this matchup. Spell Pierce could be alright. So these are the cards we're considering. On the flip side, if we're taking stuff out, we could consider taking out Collective Brutality, just like we're considering bringing it in. Abrupt Decay is pretty weak in the matchup. There's really not a whole lot, short of killing, short of destroying Snapcaster Mages, which really is not all that threatening, especially considering our creature suite. And we have Fatal Push, which is cheaper, can be countered, which is a thing, but definitely want some Fatal Pushes in there. I think we're going to pull a Fatal Push. I think we're good leaving a couple Collective Brutalities in there. I like Painful Truths for card draw, but honestly, I don't know if this is the matchup. They're a little, I mean, a lot of what they're trying to do is close the game hard on you. Reign of Tears, Tasker. I'm actually going to cut a Tasker with the Ashiok. Ashiok could grab one of those. And I think, actually, we're going to take that back. We're going to bring the Tasker back in. Game could go a little long. We don't need more than one Thought Scour. We will be on the play. This is a terrible hand. Fatal Push is like the last card we need in the matchup. This is a pretty decent hand. We'll keep this. It's possible we could protect Flayer. Lands are important. I think we're actually going to keep this on top. That way we make sure we hit our land drops. Although, to be honest, we could just Thought Scour at end step. But I do think the lands will be important in this matchup. So the problem here is we don't really want to run out Grim Flare in case it dies, but at the same token, I think we'd rather have him spend a bolt there. We have more threats than them. We want to get them using... I have a swamp. Sorry, I'm just trying to think through here. We definitely have a swamp. So we're going to go Breeding Pool here. We want them to use their burn up before we can get to ideally one of our Planeswalker threats. We don't want them to be able to say Bolt, Snap, Bolt. And what we're going to try to do here when we attack with the Flare, if he doesn't bolt it immediately, is in response to him trying to kill it with a bolt, we will Thought Scour. Nope, so we're just going to eat it right away. Three card types though, so we're getting close to feeding our Flare, and this is absolutely perfect. So Ashiok comes down at the best possible time. He's all tapped out. Get a Snapcaster Mage there. It's going to take quite a bit of work for him to get to that Ashiok. The Ashiok's going to threaten his hand as well as exiling and taking creatures for us to potentially play. Looks like he may be trying to rush a Tasker out. Yes, indeed. Let's first start and see what we grab here. So we're going to get Snapcaster for nothing. Spell Snare's got a Tar Pit and an Island. So I think we're just going to Thought Scour ourselves. If we need to fetch for a green source, we will. Inquisition. So he is going to do a fair amount of damage to Ashiok. Really surprised he didn't go for the Tar Pit. Really makes you think he has to have a cryptic command here. So we do have access to Snapcaster Stubborn Denial, and Snapcaster Thought Scour. I mean, you really just have to believe, based on the fact that he went with the island, that he's trying to represent that he drew Creeping Tar Pit, or Cryptic Command, rather. I think we just have to go for this here, though. The Inquisition is kind of a waste. Even if it is a Cryptic Command, there's nothing we can do about it. If we wait to his draw step, we're just giving him more of a chance. Excellent. So we should be able to, based on the fact that he didn't counter that, or the other one, we're just going to go ahead and Fatal Push the Snapcaster Mage. And then hope to be able to chump the Tasigur this turn. So the island was just a bluff there. If he had played the Tar Pit, he would definitely have the Ashiok dead this turn. Maybe he has a Cryptic, he just decided... Okay, no, he's just Tasiguring. Well, you can have the Spell Snare, sir. We can actually take that with an Inquisition. This is what's been exiled. We know he doesn't have... You know, and he has to cut something to get the Inquisitions in, so I'm thinking maybe the Cryptic Commands. Usually you don't see 4 Cryptics with the Inquisitions. We do have the ability to Inquisition away the spell snare, excuse me. A couple more Kolaghan's commands, so he's pretty much out of those. It's possible we should have held on to this Inquisition until we were ready to try and resolve a Spell Snare, or something through a Spell Snare. And this is fine. He's going to kill the Ashiok dead. He just has a Cryptic left. Just a Cryptic, that's all. That's going to be tough to fight through. Well, we are going to go for the Thoughtseize here. He either counters it to draw a card, or he lets it resolve, let me lose 2 life. 6, 7, 8, 9. I mean, it puts him a bolt away. Honestly, for his sake, you might as well just let it resolve. We're going to be in real trouble here if he fires up the tar pit, though. He's going to put us down to 4, which means we've got 2 turns to answer a tar pit. And that's assuming we even answer the rest of the board. So that's not going to be good enough. We can make him sacrifice a creature, he'll sacrifice the Snapcaster, and then just swing at us for lethal. So lose on turn 8 there. Bit of a bummer. Really not going so well. I mean, I suppose the games go long enough there that maybe the Thought Seizes, the Hand Disruption is not worth it. It's also possible I just kept, not that good of a hand. We really wanted probably more threats, because really I think the way you win here is probably just to put pressure on them and keep putting pressure on them. So only having the... And I'm just trying to see here if I kept my opening hand. No, I did mulligan here. So I did mulligan. So at 6, it's kind of hard to give myself too much flack for keeping the hand that I did. But we definitely wanted to be in a situation where we were, trying to drop like a Grimflayer, a Tarmogoyf, followed by a Liliana or an Ashiok, and then continuing to try and drop threats. And so it's possible that I just needed to keep more threats, or I think if we're going to keep the hand disruption, it's almost better to probably play the collective brutalities, because we can still use them for some other purpose later in the game where, Thoughtseize and Inquisition just kind of become dead. So, anywho, 0-2 against Grixis Control. So far this deck has not been running hot, but I feel like it's also not been drawing particularly hot either. So I wouldn't put all the blame on the deck here. Wouldn't put all the blame on myself. Just not going so hot this round. So anywho, we'll be back later.